Hey, welcome to the Power of Connection series. We are joined now by Amy Nelson, who is a mental health therapist that is going to open and broaden our horizons today about family connections and how it affects our mental health rather than our physical health, like we just learned about. Amy is a mental health counselor with over 12 years of experience. She has helped people with several different backgrounds of mental health disorders and issues, and she's been serving as a therapist for several years and a social worker before that. She's helped people in a variety of ways. She educates and provides guidance on how to improve just an overall quality of life. First and foremost, though, she is a wife, a mother of 5, and a grandmother of 3. So we are super, super lucky to have her here, and we're going to just pick her brain today. So tell us a little bit, Amy, as we welcome you. Tell us a little bit about why you felt good about coming and joining us at RootsTech, a genealogy conference. Draw that connection for us.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited to get to come into RootsTech because everything that I feel like RootsTech stands for and is doing is bringing connections both with ourselves today and, of course, with our ancestors. And in my work as a therapist, every day I'm working with people, helping them find ways to heal and increase their sense of satisfaction and well-being in their lives. And a lot of people don't realize how powerful connection is to naturally increase those senses of well-being within us.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I love that. So are you going to help us explore what connection is and why it has such a powerful effect?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. But to get us started there, to help it make some sense, we're going to start with some basics about kind of how our body works and how emotions work. Okay. So every single one of us has emotions, right? And each of those emotions serves a function in our body. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that the emotions that we have are intended on helping us through the sensations they create to meet needs that we have. Okay. So we might have, we have people come in for counseling all the time that they feel like maybe their emotions have gotten out of control in some capacity, right? And it's usually the uncomfortable ones. People don't come to counseling for I'm so happy, I can't control it.
Right.
Right. So what people are coming in, that they're struggling with depression or sadness, anxiety and loneliness. And then we're going to work with that person to help them identify, okay, what are the emotions that are running right now? What needs are not getting met that your body's talking to you about? And then we're going to explore with them ways to help meet those needs. Okay. So these emotions that are happening in our body, they come to us that we experience them through sensations of our body, right? So like when we're fearful, we might tighten and clench. When we're excited, we're open and we're up. Okay. So these are all like sensations and shifts that happen in our body, right? And those sensations, as we become familiar with them, can guide us to what the need is. Now, those sensations, they're not like this magical thing that just like randomly, happens.
Right.
We got sprinkled with pixie dust and whoa, we got emotion, right?
Yeah. Right.
It is kind of like our body is pretty magical. It's pretty amazing.
I love
that those sensations are coming from the flow of various chemicals through our body that is shifting and moving our body. Okay. And today, for the sake of this, this presentation, what I want to teach you about is the body chemical oxytocin. So oxytocin is responsible for a lot of positive feelings.
Yeah.
Right? It's responsible for bonding, and it is responsible, like bonding is connection, right? And that's what we're talking about today.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I've heard a lot of times that's the chemical that we feel as mothers when we're holding our baby or nursing. And is that the correct chemical that we're talking about here? Okay.
That's exactly it, right?
Okay.
So mom is feeding baby. Baby's body's flooded with oxytocin. Mom and baby are looking face to face. Baby's needs getting met. That oxytocin floods. Well-being feelings come up in both. Okay. And take that example really quick. And if mom wasn't getting that positive feel-good feeling, how's she going to survive that night after night of not sleeping, the TV, the tantrums, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
she needs that feel good flood of chemicals to help her cope then with the hard stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, because yeah, when you go through that, you don't know how you did it when you look back, and that's why
Right.
it's the drugs. It's the natural drugs.
Yeah. And so the cool things that we're going to be talking about a little bit with this today is how we can on purpose trigger these well-being chemicals to come up and to come forward for us so that we are better able to cope with these challenges in our life. And we know that right now, especially in this last year, so many challenges and pressures and differences have come up for people. And so I think this is so exciting to get to take this opportunity at RootsTech to say, hey, look, this thing that you're doing, this connection thing that you're doing, it's like taking a natural antidepressant.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I have to not backtrack, but just point out, I loved that you said on purpose. Just it's that being intentional, right? It's making intentional on purpose oxytocin, creating that. I love that. Thank you. That's like, I'm going to use that as a slogan.
Yeah, seriously.
Great.
Yes, we can do this on purpose.
Yes, I love that.
So oxytocin in this body chemical is vital for our functioning, for our body to function properly. So go back really fast to the example of mom nursing baby. That flood of that oxytocin in baby, yes, it aids in bonding, and that bonding then helps baby's brain develop appropriately. Okay,
Right.
and so we see
Okay.
in counseling, we see kids and adults, kiddos who have really struggled with not having enough of this flow. Struggles with, like, we see symptoms like anxiety and depression, attention issues.
Interesting. So it's not just mental, it's physical. Like the side effects are both
Well,
realistically.
absolutely. Absolutely. It is, oxytocin is as vital to our functioning as food, water, and air.
Wow.
Okay? And
That's
so if we're not getting enough of food, water, or air, obviously we have serious issues, right?
right.
And that is the same here with oxytocin. If we're not getting enough, we don't function properly. So I
Right.
described really quickly what we see in kiddos if they're not getting enough, but adults similarly. If we're not getting enough flow of this body chemical, then we see, again, we see adults with mood struggles. So low levels of mood, anxiety, we see irritability, depression, lack of motivation. Okay.
Yes, I
So these
can.
are all cues. If you're experiencing this, these are all cues of saying, hey, like maybe I need a little bit more connection in my life.
Okay. So how do we get that?
Right.
I'm like, okay, I know now I know I need it.
So we're going to look at all some various different ways to on purpose take that proverbial prescription of
Okay.
oxytocin. Okay.
Okay.
So this is your medication dosage, the on purpose activities that we're
So
going to engage in.
we need to take notes is what you're telling us.
Yes, exactly. Write some of these things down. But really, what I want you to do is I really want you to think about the opportunities as we're talking about it. I want you to look into your own life and see how these things can be done and amplified in your own life, because most of us don't have a lot of time to add in a ton of different things, right? But a lot of what I'm going to be talking about can be incorporated into your everyday activities, and you probably already do, but we're going to start doing them more on purpose. Okay.
Okay.
So especially if you're noticing some of those sensations, like I'm feeling kind of lonely or I'm feeling kind of withdrawn or down,
That's
that
your
is
like
your body's way
signal.
of saying, hey, I need to connect more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That makes
So
sense.
a really quick disclaimer. Sometimes people try to connect, but there are some things going on that maybe connection is scary or traumatic in some way. And if that is you, please contact a counselor or someone to talk about those things, because there are things we can do to help heal those things so then connection can flow smoothly again. Okay. So I want to at least acknowledge it's not
Yeah.
as easy as I'm saying right here to always just have it flow so nicely, but we're going
Right.
to talk about it. And if you're making those attempts at doing it, then seek help if that gets blocked for some reason. Okay.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So one of the first things I want you to look at in making that connection is that when we were talking about mom and baby nursing, mom and baby were looking at each other. Okay, so eye contact was an important piece. So we want to meet each other's body language. Okay, so obviously we're not nursing everybody; that'd be weird. But
Thank you.
Right? But when we're talking like with our kids, with our spouse, with our neighbors, friends, we want to get on their same body level. So eye level as best as you can. So you sit next to each other. You're sitting at the table at family dinner where you're having eye contact there. You're going for a car ride. So look, we're equal here. You're sitting over here in my car. And engaging in conversation in those moments. If you've got a little one, you're going to squat down or drop down on your knees and engage them there. Okay. And getting at that eye level.
Okay.
And so once you're getting in that eye level, then we want to observe kind of what their body language is. And then we're going to meet them in that body language. And this concept that I'm talking about here is called validation. Okay. We want to validate them. So we want to see and we want to validate. And validating what that is sharing that emotional experience with them. Okay. So I see my child's feeling down. I see their body language is kind of down and maybe they're upset about something, right? And we can see that in their body language. And we're going to come down to their level. And then we're going to even shift our body language really almost to be down with them a little bit. We might put our arm around them and we're going to make a statement. We're going to say, man, you look really down right now.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of acknowledging.
Exactly. So I see what there is, and then I'm going to speak it.
Oh,
okay. And so through the speaking and my body language, that gives them, that is that connection moment right there that's saying, hey, she sees me. She sees that I'm having emotion and now she's sharing that emotion with me. Okay. And so we're feeling their feels with them.
I like that. Feeling their feels. Like that makes sense. I'm feeling it with them. Yeah.
Yeah. We feel it with them. And then we are showing that to them that we feel that with them. Okay. Now, what I am not saying is that we agree with what's going on, that we have to fix what's going on. We don't have to fix it. And we don't even have to agree that it's there. We're just acknowledging the reality that it is. Okay. That this is how you feel. And I respect that this is how you feel. And I'm going to join you in that, because if we join them in that, they naturally will begin to lighten up because they're no longer in it alone. Okay. Yes. The same thing works with positive emotions. Some your kid comes home, they got an A on a test and they're like, Mom, look, this is so exciting. And here's the A on the test. And when you join them in that, that's great. And you're jumping up and down with them and they're getting excited. Again, they're like, you're feeling your feels with them and you have that shared emotional experience. Okay. So we got that eye contact going on. We're sharing that emotional experience. That bonding is taking place. That oxytocin is flooding the body. Ooh, and the body's like, yes, thank you. We needed that because that's what we need to survive here.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
We're going through those experiences with people that like, let's take that and put it into actual experience with people. Okay.
Okay.
So,
yes. Great.
We talked a little bit about family dinner, that we're sitting around the table, we're at eye level, we're engaging in conversation about how was your day. That gives you a great opportunity to validate in that moment. Like, that must have been so hard. Or man, that was exciting when you made that score. Or man, honey, that was a rough day at work. Having those conversations like that floods oxytocin in the body. We're making that connection right there.
Interesting.
Okay? We're also engaged in storytelling in that. Okay. We're hearing their story. We can tell our stories, whether it's stories that we experienced in that day, or we're sharing stories that we've read. Storytelling is really powerful in making this connection.
So the storytelling actually creates oxytocin as well. Right. As you tell that story and as you hear it? Both?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Because again, you're engaging in that shared emotional experience. So even talking about the stories and reading about the stories of our ancestors, that even creates validation. I read about my great grandma who came over from Denmark and her husband died like 2 days into the journey. And yet she continued that journey. And I think, man, I have had a rough day. And boy, she knew what rough was.
You're feeling her feels.
Exactly. And so then I feel validated in that. Like, man, she survived that. I can survive that. And that when that's happening, oxytocin is flooding through the body. That's happening. Okay.
That's incredible.
So I'm getting that literal chemical need, that physical need met, even just by reading and hearing the stories there. Okay?
Well, and I think all of us experience it, but we just didn't realize that it was happening. So I think it's really interesting to realize there's science going on within our bodies as these experiences happen. So thank you for putting a definition on it.
Exactly. So one last example that I want to share of this is they did this really, really amazing study about service. Okay. And in this study, we found out that a person who went and served, did a kind act of service for another person, that person's body who did the service, oxytocin levels went up. The person who got served, oxytocin levels went up. And that was super cool. They measured people that were around it that witnessed that service. Their levels went up. So we can on purpose.
So just witnessing it?
Just even witnessing it.
Okay, that's interesting. Keep going. Sorry.
So, so even just being a part of those acts and seeing those acts, we can on purpose trigger our oxytocin to go up and share that flood of that needed chemical with all of those around us. Okay,
that's really cool.
Simple acts.
Yeah.
So I want to bring this and like tie this all up, okay, into just some basic steps here for you. So first thing here, every single person has emotions. Those emotions serve the function of helping us meet our needs. One of those vital needs that we all have is connection. Okay, it triggers that oxytocin that helps us overall function properly. So I'm going to challenge each of you to seek opportunities in your normal daily life every day. Okay, just over the next couple of days, on purpose, seek those opportunities to tell your story, share a story, hear a story, write it down in your journal. Okay, engage in that storytelling or have family dinner together. Practice validating with each other. You're going to get fed that oxytocin and then notice how you feel over the days and see what that does to your mood.
Oh, I love all of those ideas only because I have to say the Family Connections experiment is what's powering this series, and every one of those is on, within the ideas and things. And that's what the whole focus of the Family Connections experiment is literally just to provide those types of ideas for those types of connections. So what you're saying is just like, wow, this is just validating everything that community project has become and is trying to provide for families everywhere. So thank you. Like that to me is just like this validation of what I feel inside, but I haven't always understood it, scientifically. So I love that you're putting definitions on it and helping us all of us who aren't in the medical sphere to understand. So yes, I love that. Thank you. What if some of us want to learn a little bit more? Are there places we can come to hear more from you about connection and about that power? Because I think this is fascinating, but I would love to dig deeper. How could we learn more from you?
I would really hope that everyone would want to dig deeper into this because we gave you literally like the teeniest fraction of this information. There's so much more and so many wonderful ideas out there. Anybody can come to my business website, which is peacebalanceandjoy.com. And we're going to have like free seminars and classes through Zoom and videos and things there that we're talking about these things way more in depth, so you can dig in that way. And you can also, like you brought up, to the Family Connections experience like Olivia shared with us.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amy. It has just been delightful. I am excited for all the participants to continue on to go and learn how to connect in more ways with their living family and their deceased. I love that you touched on stories because that's what our next 2 classes are about. So continue to watch the Power of Connection series to learn more about the science of it, but also to learn more ways of connecting with those family members and producing that oxytocin that Amy just did such a beautiful job of educating us about. Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome.